Hello, my spooky crew. How are you all doing? You happy and well, whatsoever like where you are? Here it's gone really dreary and windy and rainy showers. When I put all my washing out, it's sod's law. Yeah, all the good things, all those good things. Okay, today's video I'm gonna put in the mysterious section because they happen. It's a hard one because part of it should go in ghost myths and legends, but because some of it is things that people are experiencing and it's an ongoing thing, and I thought the mysterious section is the section to put it in. I'm just waffling now, but yes, I well and truly went down a moderate rabbit hole researching this video. I was sitting there the other day, like you do, and I was thinking, oh, what should I do for my videos? Because now I'm not working, I can start doing a bit more content again. And I was thinking about ghosts, because also I do a little ghost, and I was thinking about how sometimes they can be quite scary, and some you get a sense of peace, and some you do get a sense of, this is really freaking me out, I do not like it. And how movies have them like hurting people and things like that. And I was like, could this happen? So I started looking up that. And yeah, so I started looking up that, and different things popped up that I thought, oh, I could maybe link it with that as well. And as with most of these things that I do, like the mysterious videos, they're there, the things I've researched, the things I'm interested in. There's two sides, you can agree or disagree. I usually do experts' opinions on both sides. Like, no, this can't be it, or yeah, this is, or with the zombies, people that have said different facts and different experts in the field, like with the zombie ants and things. And yeah, it's not a this is what's happening, this is what's been seen, you will believe it. No, this is a free to make your own mind up and debate and chat and be interested in. And but anyway, so ghost, according to some people that have had this happen to them, and different parapsychologists believe that ghosts can be physical. They can physically harm you, and there are ghosts apparently that can have sex with you. So anyway, my spooky crew, come enter the crypt with me, take a pew, and let's get into this whole world of strange. Okay, so Alcatraz, one of the most haunted places in the good old US of A. I always think back to that film as well with Kevin Bacon and Gary Oldman. See, I watch Escape from Alcatraz a lot, so I could be thinking that, but no. I always think action, reaction, but that was yeah, no, not very nice. But anyway, right, getting off track now. On a stretch of D block, there is a row of cells known as the Hole. And now, these are just terrifying cells. These were cells that were meant to scare and disturb and all those lovely punishment things that they did back in those days of prisoners. There was solitary confinement, and they had a sink, a loo, a dim light bulb that the guards controlled, and a mattress that was taken away in the day. So they couldn't sit on it. It was only there for nighttime sleeping, gone again in the day. And the last cell on the whole row was known as the Oriental. I don't know why. I don't know if that was some rude thing, or if one of the first people they put in there was an Oriental. I don't know. But it was known as the Oriental, and this was a steel deprivation chamber with a hole at the bottom where you can do your ones and twos. And that was basically it. Now, during the 1940s, there was a lot of tale among the inmates of a ghostly man wearing 19th century prison clothes. And one night, there was an inmate, and he was locked in one of the cells in the hole, and he started screaming, literally terrified, absolutely terrified screams, and he was saying that there was something or someone trapped in there with him with glowing eyes. And obviously, yeah, he screamed and the guards didn't listen, and he screamed pretty much all night until an eerie silence descended. Now, in the morning, the guards opened to do whatever they did, do a check, and they were greeted by a grisly sight. Now, this inmate was found dead. They were strangled, and handprints were found fresh and livid on the inmate's throat. Some say that maybe one of the guards cracked and put an end to his screaming permanently. They did do an investigation, but they couldn't find anything that suggested that. But then it could be old boys club stick together. Some do believe that he really was trapped in there with the ghost of the 19th century inmate, and that is who had killed the inmate from his ghostly realm. Now, this one, like my book, I should read you. I should read you from my book of wonderful things. It helps in my notes. I should get a prompter. This is one of my favourites. Now, mainly because there's a lot of spooky things that happened. It involves curses. And so many things happened that are so related to the first story that goes with it that it's like, how could it not be? But again, that is up for you to. In Kentucky, 1938, a man named Carl Priet came home to find his wife in the arms of her lover, and obviously in a seething, blind, seeing red, furious rage, Carl killed his wife. He strangled her with a chain. The lover, obviously, not doing anything to try and help save the woman he'd been banging. And after he'd killed the wife, Carl killed himself. Now, not long after his burial, see, I'm surprised he had a burial, because I thought, being a murderer, killing himself, he might have had an unmarked grave or something. But anywho, not long after his burial, visitors to the graveyard said that his tombstone was starting to show strange staining, and this staining was actually starting to resemble a chain. Now, there was a young lad around then, and we know what kids are like. They want to be big and tough and impress their friends, and this is exactly what this young lad wanted to do. He wanted to be like, I'm not scared, I'm hardcore, I'm gonna do something really reckless. And he threw a rock at Carl's tombstone and he chipped it. Now, the boy died shortly afterwards. It was a freak accident. When he was riding home on his bike, the bike chain came off and strangled him as he rode home. Now, as us mothers would, the mother was beside herself. She was devastated. She went to the grave in a fit of rage, and she just vented her anger on it. She hit it over and over again with an axe. So the next morning, she also was found dead. She had been strangled, if you guessed it, you were right, by her own clothesline. Okay, she was hanging out the washing, and her washing line had inexplicably got caught around her neck while doing so, strangling her to death. Everything's fine for a little while, and then a while later, a farmer. See, I don't understand why the farmer did this. I don't know if he just wanted to test his luck, if he was just been a bit bonkers, if he'd been drinking. But anyway, he decided to go past in his wagon, and he thought, you know what? Just gonna let off some shots. I'm gonna shoot this tombstone. And so he did. He shot at the tombstone, and spooked by the sound of the gunshot, his horses fled off, and the farmer was thrown from the wagon. And again, when he fell, one of the horse's reins wrapped around his neck, and yes, he too was strangled. The grave was now well and truly cursed, and had the reputation for do not go there, bad shit happens. Still, knowing that bad shit happens, and that everyone else knew that this is cursed, we do not want to go anywhere near it, two policemen decided, you know what? It's going to be so cool, really cool. Let's go and have a photo. Let's take our photo by this tombstone. So, they go in, they stand there. I don't know who took the photo. Maybe they set it up, because obviously it's like the 40s. It's not going to be like, let's get our cell phones out. But anyway, they had a photo taken. So they're there, had their photo done, and then they leave. And as they're driving away, they say that they noticed this really strange bright light, and it seems to be following them. And so they speed up a bit, and it's still there following them. And by now they are actually thinking, shit, maybe we shouldn't have done what we did, and they're getting freaked out. And so they start speeding away, and this led them to crashing the vehicle into a fence. One of the policemen died. Now, he died by being nearly, very, very, very nearly completely decapitated, as his head was nearly, like I said, nearly chopped off by the chain that hung between the fence posts. So in the rest of the 1940s, most people were like too scared to go near the place for fear of, well, for having a gruesome end. No one wanted to have their heads cut off, to be strangled by home mechanical chains lying around, or washing lines, or it was right. We're not that stupid. We're not going near it now. But again, as we have learned in many videos that we've done together and in normal life, that some people, I just looked down weirdly then because I realised my t-shirt's dirty and I don't know if you can see it. I was going to change it and I totally forgot. The life of a mum and a content maker and a housewife and all that jazz, and it's just like, shit, never mind. Okay. But anyway, skip over that bit. Yeah, you always get someone, and obviously not being funny or anything, but it was a man. It was like, I'm so hardcore. I'm so tough. I don't care. The curses don't bother me. And he decided to go up to the tombstone and he started smashing it with a hammer. And obviously, a little while later, he was found dead by the cemetery gates. And as you might have, probably did guess, he was found strangled by the chain that locks the cemetery. I think they, excuse me. I think after that, they decided to get rid of the tombstone and sort of close off that bit of the graveyard. And I think it went quiet after that, which I think was the most sensible thing to do, because could you imagine it was there? There's going to be people, isn't there? There's going to be, like, you can imagine it on tour buses, like, this is the spooky, cursed grave of Carl Pritchett, and if you do this, and so they did the right thing. Now, other ghosts that we are more aware of that are quite vicious and harmful are the good old poltergeist. Now, poltergeist is a German name, and it basically means noisy ghost. And we know that why they are very, very noisy. They love throwing things and knocking on doors and moving furniture and stomping and almost being like a petulant, annoying child. They are also said to be very violent, and they have been known to pull hair, punch, pinch, trip you up, bite you, deep enough that people have found bite marks in their arms. And there have been cases where they have been known to pick people up and to throw them. Now, there's a story that a poltergeist even caused a man's death. Now, I don't know why she's it, she, them, is referred to as the witch when she's meant to be a poltergeist entity, and a bit rude to witches. But anyway, I always want to say this, like, there's crime programs that are like between the years of 1817 and 1821. Robertson County, Tennessee. And I just did it anyway. But there's the crime films, they always talk about anyway. The family of John Bell came under attack from a mostly invisible entity. In 1817, before everything's fine, they had a lovely farm, it was flourishing, they were happy. Strange creatures started to appear, half dog and half rabbit. Then the sound started pounding on doors and walls, shouting, large stones thumping around, the sounds of chains rattling. Soon, they moved on to hair pulling, pinching, arms and legs hit and kicked. Angry voices were taunt them, and in particular, John and his daughter Betsy. Now, the entity became known as the Bell Witch, and like I said, I don't know why was it the Bell Poltergeist, but anyway. She is said to have poisoned John to his death, but then she still is meant to have had a thing for the family and would go, I'm coming back in 7 years, and she did. And they've had neighbours that stayed there and they all witnessed it. And then one of their relatives inherited it and he saw her, but she wasn't too bad. But she went, I'm going to come back in 107 years this time. So hold on to the seats of your trousers. Will she come back again? Will we suddenly hear more tales of the Bell Witch? But anyway. But as I was saying at the beginning, not all ghosts want to cause harm and hurt you. Oh no. Some ghosts want to give you some sexual healing. Sorry. Sean Jameson was staying at a house in Pembrokeshire, in Aberystwyth, Wales. No, she wasn't staying in Pembrokeshire, you twat. She was staying at Aberystwyth. I can't say it now. Aberystwyth. Aberystwyth, that's the one. In Wales. When her sexual ghost encounter began. She had recently split up with her boyfriend of 3 years, and she moved to this fully furnished 16th century house to get away for a fresh start. Now, the home was fully furnished, as I said. It had books and paintings, as well as all the furniture. One painting in particular used to catch her eye, and it was hung above the mantelpiece in the main room, and it showed a handsome young man dated 1820. She enjoyed the peace and quiet of the countryside. She got on with doing her writing. She was a writer. She was paying her rent with bits and bobs that she was doing when she was there and thoroughly enjoying herself. And she was thinking, well, I don't know why I was upset. I don't really need a man. This is a really nice life for me. But then, she started having really sexy dreams. And one morning, she woke up and found a good-looking, young, dark-haired young man lying next to her in bed. He was fully clothed. He had like a white, sort of loose white flowy shirt and a neck scarf and breeches. So I'm thinking, in my mind's eye, Mr. Darcy. I think there is a picture of the painting, so I will try and put that up for you guys to see. Anyway, he had a shimmer to him, and she thought she was just dreaming again, so she rolled over. A little while later, she looks at the wall and she thinks, wait a minute, I know I'm not asleep. This is not a dream. What the fuck is going on? And she said he touched her waist, and it was light and cool, and she knew that he was the man in the painting. And they started to have sex, like you do. He was very gentle and stroked her body tenderly. Doing this, she found out his name. He's meant to be called Robert, and how he lived and when he lived, and it was all like telepathically connected through their act of lovemaking. And his body was soft and light, and even when on top of her, pressing down, it was almost weightless. But the sex was amazing. It feels like I'm reading from like Lady Chatterley or sort of one of those Mills and Boon books. Is it getting hot in here, or is it just me? The second time it happened, she actually saw him like dressed and undressed and then leave and walk down the stairs. And she should have heard his footsteps. She didn't. The third and last time was at night. The duvet was pulled off of her, and a cool hand ran up her thigh under her nightie. And she knew that would be the last time, and she knew she'd fallen in love with him. I don't know why I'm doing it like this. I'm sorry. This is seems like I'm taking the piss, but I'm not. It's just, I don't know. I've gone into Mills and Boon category here. She has a living boyfriend now, and she states, though, that the ghost sex she had was still the best sex she had ever had. This one kind of cracks me up, because I kind of think it's partly the bloke's fault. He seems like a bit of a wazzer. But anyway, another Welsh one. There was another Welsh story as well about a woman that was renting a cottage, and she had sexual encounters with a ghost, but I can't find it. It's like I found it when I was first researching it, and when I went to write up some more, I couldn't find that story. But Wales, they seem to have a lot of horny ghosts. Anyway, on a stretch of the A40 in Wales, a horny ghost is seducing drivers. Now, this one is in Pembrokeshire. A man told Mr. Davies, author of Ghost Sex, that he was driving back from a date that hadn't gone to plan. Maybe she didn't put out for him. And he saw a beautiful woman standing at the roadside. And he picked her up. And then, see, this is what I'm thinking. It's partly his fault, and partly the fact that maybe the date did not put out, because you picked up a woman. She's beautiful. Okay, that's great. You don't really know her. The man then pulled over and took the mystery woman into a public loo. That old charmer. The ghost then seduced the man in terms too graphic to describe. This is not my words. This is actually what the author said. So I don't know what she was meant to be doing to him. You may have to buy the book. Let you know. But anyway, he then started to smell a really strange smell. He thought it was at first a bit like cigarette smoke. And then he felt like he was choking, and he thought he was going to die, and he was crying. And so he pushed her off him with all of his might. And no longer was the beautiful woman that was on him standing there. No, it was, in his words, not mine. I don't want to judge the poor ghost. A disgusting, haggard old woman with an awful skin condition. And he screamed and he screamed and he screamed, and she vanished. Now, last but not least, because there are quite a few stories. There are celebs that have had issues. I think Keisha is meant to have sexual encounters with ghosts. Yeah, so there's quite a lot. There's quite a few out there. But for our tale, the last but not least of these is a woman named Amethyst Realm. And she is said to have had over 30 ghost lovers. And I believe she is now engaged to a ghost and is planning on having a ghost baby. She believes, I don't ever want to put this in because I don't want to upset anyone who has actually had this happen to them, but this is what she believes. She believes it is possible, and she believes that phantom pregnancies are actually ghost babies. People have been visited by ghosts for having ghost babies. Anyway. Right. So in 2018, I'm not sure this is the one she's engaged to now, but this is what I read up. And she said that the lover is wise, stable, and kind. She doesn't know if they are a male or a female, but she has found true love. They are the one. They met when she was in Australia, and this spirit followed her back to the UK. While on the plane, they went to the plane toilet and joined the Mile High Club. She believes that ghost sex is deeper, more passionate, and strangely enough to her is more natural than sex with a living person. Her ghost sex encounters started when she was 18. Apparently, she was engaged to a living man. She was getting undressed for bed, and she felt fingers flutter down her spine. And then soft whisperings. She was turned around and embraced, and the energy was all-consuming. And next she knew, she was on the bed in the throes of ghost-induced ecstasy. Now, one day the fiancé came home and he said that he saw the shape of a man through the window. So he rushed in and he found her lying in bed with stockings, suspenders, a busk, and a tiny G-string. And she was looking around for this man that he'd seen through the window, and she said, "You won't ever be able to find him. He's a ghost." To which the fiancé did pack up all his stuff, broke up for and left. Which then left her and the ghost free to make love anywhere and everywhere in the house, but never outside because the ghost couldn't leave. So everywhere and everywhere, yeah. And that was her first encounters of all the rest of her sexual ghosts. And she doesn't need a living man because ghosts are better. And yeah. So, my spooky crew, what do you think about that one? Psychiatrists believe that with the case of Sian, because she had broken up recently, you know, there was that need to be loved, to be soothed, to feel wanted and needed and desired, and it was coming out in this sort of maybe hallucination state, sleep paralysis, bringing on hallucinations. Parapsychologists believe that ghosts can be physical and that they can have sex, and they believe there are real cases, and they don't know why ghosts sleep with the living, but they think maybe as we search for knowledge of them and we do tests and investigate, they also like to use us as lab rats. So what do you think? Sleep paralysis, hallucinations, ghosts getting frisky? Do you think the curse was real, or do you just think that because people believed it so much and then the things that happened after just sort of went with how he'd killed his wife, that it all linked up? Was it a guard that cracked, or was it a ghostly prisoner? I'd love to know your thoughts, what you think, if anything's ever happened to you, if you had a poltergeist. Have you, dear spooky crew, had sexual encounters with ghosts? There is no judging if you have. Have you felt threatened by a ghost? Get in touch, let us know. There's no judging. We want to know. And we'd love to know your feelings and thoughts. You know, this is a debate inside. No one is going to take the piss out of whatever anyone feels on this channel, because this is a channel of weird and spooky things. Sometimes some beauty thrown in just to confuse everybody, because I like to keep it. Anyway, as always, thank you so much for watching, for coming and taking a pew with me, for entering my dusty crypt, sitting with the firelight and the candles, and enjoying a few minutes chit-chatting. Keep safe, be happy, be healthy. As always, take a few minutes out for yourself. Even if it's really hard to do so, just look out the window for 5 minutes. Take that deep centering breath. Maybe have some wax melts on if you can, which I've got, and it smells so nice. Just that deep breath and a nice scent in the house. Have a cuppa, quick bite to eat. Look after you. You guys are important. You're valued. Be good. If you can't be good, be careful. And as always, my spooky crew, I will see you on the flip side. Goodbye.